Hello and welcome to online edu classes of Brilliant Public School by Kailash Kumar sir. Today in this video we are going to continue with our previous topic of class 5 English literature chapter 11, that is The Nose by Nikolai Gogol, and this is the second part of our video. So let's continue. Children, let's have a brief recapitulation of our story The Nose by Nikolai Gogol. Gogol's short story, The Nose, tells the tale of a man named Kovalyov who wakes up one morning without his nose. So, what's happened, children, here? Kovalyov one morning woke up and he asked for a mirror that stood on the table that should be brought over to him so that he can have a look at a pimple that had made its appearance on his nose the previous evening. But what did he find? To his extreme astonishment, he found that instead of a nose, there was nothing but an absolutely flat surface. Normally, Kovalyov loves to flirt, prides himself on his rank and his title, and thinks very highly of his physical appearance. Now, without his nose, he struggles with low self esteem and shame. Now, let's explore the story further. Poor Kovalyov nearly went out of his mind. Now it was very unexpected situation for him, so he was unable to decide what to do next. He did not know what to make of it. He was not actually able to come out of the situation. How, in fact, could a nose which only yesterday was in the middle of his face and which could not possibly walk around or drive in a carriage suddenly turned up in a uniform? So it was such a situation for Kovalyov that he could never imagine that it could ever happen to him, that his nose has developed a separate life of its own and it is moving around in the city in the form of a state councillor. So let's see next. Now, with a change of mind, he decided to go straight to the newspaper offices and publish an advertisement, giving such a detailed description of the nose that anyone who happened to meet it would at once turn it over to Kovalyov, or at least tell him where he could find it. Now, next was that he decided to give a newspaper advertisement so that people can identify and recognize that this nose is of Kovalyov and they can return the nose to him. Now Kovalyov visits the newspaper office for publishing an advertisement regarding the missing of his nose. At the newspaper's office, he said to a grey-haired clerk sitting there, "My dear sir, I want to publish an advertisement. Will you take the details down, please?" demanded Kovalyov. "I really just can't wait." "Just a minute, if you don't mind," said the clerk. "Name, please." "It's my nose that's disappeared." Now, at the newspaper office, Kovalyov expressed his problem, that for what purpose he is there, for he wanted to publish an advertisement. So he expresses his problem to that clerk whose hair was grey colored. So as the clerk was busy that time, so he told, "Just a minute, if you don't mind." Now next the clerk asks him the question, "Now please tell me the name of the person who is missing." So in return, Kovalyov is replying, "It's my nose that's disappeared." Children, till here also the clerk didn't understand what was the actual problem of Kovalyov. Now let's see next. Strange name. Now when the clerk heard the name of the person who was missing as the nose, so he expressed as, strange name. "And did this Mr. Nose steal much?" "My nose, I am trying to say. You don't understand. It's my own nose that disappeared." Now the situation was too pathetic for Kovalyov, as the clerk was not able to understand what actually was missing. So Kovalyov tried his best to make it more clear to the clerk so that he may understand his actual problem. Now next, the clerk asked him further question. How did it disappear? I don't follow. I don't understand. How did it disappear? The clerk asked him. Kovalyov answered, I can't tell you how, but please understand. My nose is traveling at this very moment all over the town, calling itself a state councillor. So he is expressing to the clerk that I don't know how it disappeared from my face, but at this point of time, my nose is traveling over the town, calling itself a state councillor. Next, Kovalyov is trying his best to express his problem to the clerk. He says that imagine what it's like being without such a detectable part of your body, such a visible part of your body which people can easily detect, which people can easily identify. So, if that part of the body is missing, so people can easily find the difference. If it were just a small toe, then I could put my shoe on and no one would be any the wiser. If suppose that part would be a small toe, then I can easily wear on my shoe, I can easily put on my shoe and hide that part. But if that part is easily detectable to everyone, then people can easily find the difference. Apparently, even the clerk was touched by Kovalyov's terrible loss. Yes, clearly at this point of time, clerk understood the actual problem, the actual loss of Kovalyov. Mr. Kovalyov gave him some money, and after entering the amount in a register, the clerk promised the troubled visitor an advertisement in the next day newspaper. Now the clerk realized, he understood the problem of Kovalyov, and he received the money given by Kovalyov, and he promises him that the in the next day newspaper advertisement he will definitely find an article published about his missing of his nose. After this, Kovalyov strode furiously. Strode means he walked with long steps, and that too in an extremely angry manner. So, after this, Kovalyov strode furiously out of the newspaper office and went off to the local inspector of police. The next task Kovalyov did was that he also went to the nearest police office and police department, and he registered a complaint in that police department. Finally, towards night, Kovalyov left for his home. So, after registering the complaint, he left for his home. Some days later, he heard a strange voice in the hall. And what was that voice? Does Mr. Kovalyov live here? Please come in. The major's home, said Kovalyov, springing to his feet and opening the door. A smart looking police officer with plump cheeks and whiskers that were neither too light nor too dark made his entrance. Are you the gentleman who has lost his nose? Yes, that's me. Now the policeman interrogated to him that are you the one gentleman? Are you the same gentleman who registered a complaint about missing of his nose? Kovalyov replied, yes, that's me. Now the police officer is replying, it's been found. What did you say? Cried Major Kovalyov. He could hardly speak for joy. He looked wide-eyed at the police officer, as it was a matter of great joy for Kovalyov that when he heard the police officer saying that his nose has been found, so he was too much happy. He was extreme happy. So with a wide eye, he looked at the police officer. How did you find it? Very strange. We caught it just at as it was about to drive off in the Riga stagecoach. Riga stagecoach, it is a large carrier pulled by horses. Strangely enough, I mistook it for a gentleman at first. Now, when the Kovalyov asked him, he asked the police officer that where and how did the police officer found the nose. So the policeman replied that we caught it just it was about to drive off in the Riga stagecoach. Means when he was just about to drive off, when he was just about to go off from that place with a large carrier pulled by horses, means in a stagecoach, that very moment the police officer identified it as a nose. Earlier he mistook it by thinking that it is a gentleman, but fortunately, I had my spectacles with me, so I could see it was really a nose. Luckily, that time the police officer was wearing his spectacles, so he could easily identify that that gentleman is not a person, that is actually a nose. Now, Kovalyov was just beside himself. Where is it? I'll go right away to come to claim it. Don't excite yourself, sir. So as Kovalyov was just standing beside himself, so with great astonishment, he is asking to the policeman, where is it? I'll now straight go to claim for it. Police officer is saying him, have patience, sir. Don't excite yourself. And the police officer dipped into his pocket and pulled out the nose wrapped up in a piece of paper. And that very moment itself, the police officer uh, dipped his hands in his pocket and pulled out the nose which was wrapped up in a piece of paper. That's it, cried Kovalyov. No mistake. Now Kovalyov was too much happy that yes, that's my nose. Thank you so much, sir. He thanked the police officer. No mistake you have done. Yes, this is actually my nose. So this moment Kovalyov was so much happy. By expressing his happiness, he offered a cup of tea to the police officer. You must stay and have a cup of tea, sir. I'll be always thankful to you. I'll be always grateful to you for finding my nose. Thank you. So, children, this is a short story of The Nose by Nikolai Gogol. I hope you all have understood the story, both part 1 and part 2, and everything is clear to you. You all have understood the content and the concept behind this chapter. If suppose if anything is missing or if anything is not clear to you, you can re-watch the video and you can make the things understood to you. So this much in this video, children. Thank you all. Have a safe and happy learning.